Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's TechByte. Today, we're going to go over just basic Google Sheets usage. And when I say Google Sheets, I kind of mean just like any spreadsheet or spreadsheet kind of program you use. Like this same kind of stuff. It's going to be a little bit different, but almost the same for if you use Excel, if you use LibreOffice, or whatever Mac uses, which I don't know. But it's all the same kind of stuff. We're just doing the basic stuff, so don't worry about that. My name is Beck Thompson. I'm the community lead here at the club. If you ever have any questions about this stuff or any programming questions, math questions, join the Discord and we will try to help you as best we can. So if you have any questions, join there or ask in the chat, which is not here right now, but that's fine. So what is Google Sheets? Google Sheets is just a spreadsheet program it's a spreadsheet program. They are very common. Almost every company that's big enough will make one. But basically, it will help you store data. It solves problems, analyzes the data, and so much more. For example, this is a really weird use case, but just 2-3 weeks ago, I used it to make QR codes and show how they work. So you can really just make it whatever you want. It's just think of it as little boxes, and you can fill stuff out. And I said it's literally just Excel. Google Sheets is just Excel, except Google's version of it. Why would you want to use Google Sheets? Really, and when I say Google Sheets again, I'm just talking about all spreadsheet programs. Basically, you want to use these because it makes your life a lot easier. I think I actually kind of did the math a little bit. I think I saved around like 10 hours just in like 1 or 2 weeks using this for my stats class because of how much easier and quicker it makes certain functions. It's just so useful for so many applications. It's just if you think of this like some boring task, Sheets will make it a million times easier. So I think the best way to learn about this kind of stuff is just to start doing it. So we're just going to go right into it, and I'm going to talk as I go, and we're going to explain some use cases, some different like ways of using stuff, like just a whole bunch of different ways of how to use Google Sheets, and we're going to go over the basics. I'm pretty sure you can see this tab. Let me just double check because that would suck. Oh yeah, you can see this. This is just the Sheets website. They got a whole bunch of spreadsheets. I'm just going to make a new one. It's a blank one. So you can see you open it up and you've got a whole bunch of just blank little squares, and as you can see, they're numbered and they're lettered. That's it. It doesn't seem like that much. You can also, you can type in them, but that's about it. This looks very boring, very not intuitive, but it's actually super simple. I actually like to think of it like exactly like Microsoft Word. If you use Microsoft Word or the equivalent, just word processor, it's exactly the same, but for data. It's just super simple, no frills, nothing. You just do the stuff. It's the perfect tool for that purpose. And if you see, this is also very similar to, I'm saying Word, but I don't know what the Google equivalent is, but I think it's Google Docs. But just this is the same for word processors. You've got all these different things. Like you can change the view, you can insert stuff, you can format things, all sorts of that stuff. You can change font sizes, the background color, text color. Most of the stuff is honestly just the same as Word. Like you can just edit the stuff, change the things. It's all relatively easy. Like for example, if I just do this and I can do Control Copy, Control Velcro, it copies it, controls, and then Velcros it. Just all super simple. That's the up here though. That's just this kind of stuff. The real meat of the program are these cells. These I'm calling them cells because these are cells, and you can see they're numbered, and they've got numbers on the left column, and on the top they have the letters. So for example, this cell will be called A1. Each cell has its own like specific names. This cell will be A1. This right here would be H. Go over here, H12. So think of that. We're not going to go over that right away, but they all do have their names. They all have their separate like little references. You can call them and stuff. So first, again, remember, it's just like Word. If you can do it on Word, you can probably do it here. And the only other thing I got to say is that Excel especially has got so many people use it, and it's so refined. If you think that something and you say, oh man, that would sure be convenient if I could do it this way. If I could do this one certain thing, I'm almost guarantee you they will have it. Like there will be some shortcut that you don't know, and you can just go look it up and find it and just use it, and it will work great. I've so many times I'm like, man, I wish they had this. I wish you could do this in Sheets, and I would say, look it up, and then someone would say, okay, just do this certain command, and you have it done. So if you think of it, they probably have some shortcut or way of doing it. And let's just start. The best way to show you, just kind of start typing stuff in. So, for example, if I type a word test and I type a number, I can type numbers. sorry, and you also can type some other things. Like for example, if I had like some money, if I had a money thing like $10. It also has this, and it's actually separate. Every single thing that it has, it's the same thing in kind of word. So test is a letters. This is a number, and this is a like dollar amount. So you can do all sorts of different things, but they all have like different kind of meanings. Um, Basically, that's the basics. That's the really basic stuff. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a spreadsheet of an eBay account. So if I sell stuff on eBay, and if you sell stuff on eBay, it's probably good to make one of these. Basically, it just kind of shows what you sold, how much you sold it for, what eBay's cut is, and how much money you're taking at the end of the day. It's just basic stuff, and this is exactly what Excel is made for. So first thing first, let's make a title for our little thing. So I'm gonna make a title called eBay seller spreadsheet sheet 2021. So another thing you notice is that because this text is so long, it's spreading over into B. And it looks annoying, but if you click on B, you actually can see it does not appear. If you type into this cell, no matter how long it is, it will stay in that cell. It does not go over. So even though it looks like it does, that's just for just to show you what it is. If I type something in here, like just anything, you can see it cuts it off. It's just an A, even though it looks like it's also in B. We're going to go over a little bit later how to make this stuff look a little bit nicer, but this is fine for now. So new seller, let's just make the list of things you sell. So the first thing is the name of the item. So we're going to make a new thing like this. We're going to say name. I'm just typing name. That's not like special. I just like literally just typed a name. This can be anything you want. And we're going to say the first thing we sold was a top hat. So not super exciting, but just a normal top hat. Then we're going to have I think the next one I should do is the date it was sold. So date sold. And so Excel has a thing you can insert the date, but we're just going to have to do it manually. I'm pretty sure today is the 16th. So we're going to do 11/16/2021. Oops, and I spelled it wrong. 2021. We're not living that far in the future. And if you can see, if you double click, it actually brings up this little thing. So you can change the date on this little calendar that brings up as well. So it's just another little nice quality of life feature. The next thing we're going to have is we're going to have the sold price. Okay. So the sold price is just like obviously what it's sold for. And let's say the top hat sold for $50. Okay. So first off, you can just leave it like this. You don't have to you can just leave this 50 as 50, but it is $50, not just 50, the number. So if we go to format, and we go to number right here, as you can see, we can change this to a number, a percent, scientific notation, accounting, financial, currency, whatever complicated thing you want a date to. It automatically did the date. But so what we're going to do is we're going to change this to accounting. Pretty sure this is the right one to use, but it works. So as you can see, it says $50. So there we go. Now, the next thing you got to do when you're selling eBay, tax is important. So the eBay is going to take tax is going to be added to the cost. So we're going to also say tax percentage. And obviously, this varies state by state. So we're just going to say whatever the state is, they have a 10% in tax. Whatever. But remember, we can change this 0.1 instead of saying 0.1. I usually like to leave it at 0.1, but you can go and change this to %. So it's 10%. It's already done for you. And the last thing is that eBay takes 12.5%, but basically it ends up being eBay takes more like 14%, but we're just going to leave it at 12.5. So say eBay take, and their take is 0.15, and we're going to change this to a number and a %. And then and the last thing is just the total profit. And this is obviously a little bit simplified, but it's fine. So the total profit, if we're just going to calculate this, it would be 50 times 10% times 15%, which I'm just going to grab the calculator. Sorry. I don't think you really see this calculator, but I'm doing the math now, and the calculator is not appearing because it's behind here. Okay, so it's 50 times 10% times 0.15. All right, so that doesn't make any sense. Oh, 5, so it's so this would be 45 times okay, so That just I should have picked a little bit easy numbers. Basically, let's say eBay is going to end up overall, all in all, it's going to be about $40 total profit. So as you can see, I don't like doing math, and so we're going to go in a little while later how to make that a little bit easier. And this is a number, so this is a accounting dollars. So that's the total profit. So as you can see, that would just be one row, but as you usually do, you hopefully you're selling multiple things. So we're just going to add a couple more rows, like say you've sold a shirt, a dress, and a watch. So this part right here is where Excel starts to become very useful. So as you can see, we're just going to have to type out there. So let's do one. 11. Let's say I sold this on the 10th, and I sold it in this year. That gets tedious to type out. So what you can do, and this is actually very useful. You can see that you see this little arrow will pop up if you hover over this cell. You can drag this down, and it will copy the value above. So you can do this for anything. For example, if I just on watch, copy it down, copy all the watches. So we sold 1 million watches. There you go. But you can copy stuff like that, which is very useful because then I can just go, I can sold on the 10th. This one I sold on the 5th. Usually you want to do it in order, but whatever, it doesn't matter. This one I sold on the 3rd. So you can see I very quickly there just add all the dates, change the stuff, and it's all super easy. So that's right there, the first use of Excel that is extremely helpful. So the sold price obviously different for each one. Again, we can just drag it down, copy all the values. So we can just say this one sold for, I don't know, $30. This one sold for 125.12, and the watch is super expensive. It sold for not that much money. So we're putting some complicated numbers in there, but we'll see why in a second. So then in tax percentage, again, we're just going to drag it down. I think Texas is 0, so if this was in Texas, it would be 0. I don't know. Oh, because they got rid of the percent, I think. This would be 0. Let's say this one was 15. Another one was like, I don't know, 12. And then eBay's take is always 15%. Sorry, I say 15. I meant to say it's 12.25. I don't know why I said 15. There we go. So let's try calculating total profit. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to take 15% of 125.12 and then take 12% of that. That is not something fun, and that's not fun, and it's also extremely difficult, especially when you have different tax percentages and different sold prices. It's extremely difficult. So this is where we're going to go into something. So I'm going to leave this right here, and we're going to fill this out in a second. So we can go over why this is where Excel really shines and why you really want to use it. But the only thing I gotta say is that right now this spreadsheet looks ugly. We just have eBay seller spreadsheet. It's like going to the next thing. These are all like a little bit weird looking. They're like, this ones have a lot of room in the end. These ones are barely. These ones kind of like are like weird, and there's like these ones are taking up too much room. Everything's off center. So we're gonna do a couple things to make it look a lot nicer. So what you can actually do is if you do this, you highlight all these cells. So I'm selecting A1 through F1, I guess. And if you do this, you can click on this button right here called Merge Cells. So right now it's turning this all into one cell right here. So this is A1 through F1, as you can see, and it's all right there. And then after that, I can actually do this and do horizontal line right there. Now eBay seller spreadsheet is right there. It looks a lot better. And I want to change the background to like yellow. There we go. Already looks better. You can even do this stuff. It's a little more complicated, but you can even do something like green. You can change this to green, and if it's like a negative, I don't know, if it's negative, you can change it. I can change it to like green. Tax percentage is no good. We do not like paying taxes. It's red, and eBay's take is another red because you don't like eBay taking our money. So you can do the stuff like that. I'm gonna get rid of those because it's not super important, but you can also change colors and stuff. Remember, it's like Word. You can change everything you want. Think of it kind of like Word except for numbers. So now we've made it a little bit nicer. We can even do something like this. If you double click right here between two cells, it will. You should not do that. I don't know. Oh, is it because I messed the cells up with eBay thing? Okay. There's a problem. Okay, it's because I merged the cells, so I want to unmerge these. I'm just going to unmerge these for a second. But if I go like this and double click right there. Oh, see, it's doing this one. Okay, I do this. I think double click there. Sorry, this is a little bit different than Excel. I'm doing Excel, but basically, it doesn't matter. I was just trying to make this so you can change the cell size. I'll do it manually. So you can just shrink this down and make them a little bit neater because obviously there's some of them that are taking up too much space. It can do this automatically if you double click, but I'm just going to do it manually because I cannot figure it out. I do it. So you just do this. Tax percentage is obviously pretty small. eBay's take is the same everywhere. Except then you also can't read the thing. So I'm actually bring that. All right, and then that's fine. I'll bring this one a little bit. And so you can remember, you can rearrange these cell lengths. You can even do it this way too. So if you want like this one to be really big, but numbers or letters or whatever, it just does that. So you can change all those sizes. So now that we have this, the biggest problem is I do not want to calculate this stuff manually. It is annoying and it is difficult. So this is where, like I said, this is where Excel really becomes useful. So what you can do is if you do this, you press the, and I'm just going to go over here because it doesn't really matter. You press equals, you start doing Google is trying to fill stuff out automatically, but basically you can start doing math. And math is extremely useful for this kind of stuff. So we can do, and I'm just going to do some simple stuff. For example, if you do 1 plus like 6, does 7. You can do like other more complicated things. Like you do the square root of like 10, tells you what it is. I think you can even do like pi. Let me see. Pi. Yep. There you go, the number pi. There we have pi. So you can just, this is where math, again, this is where it really excels. You can start doing math and stuff, math is obviously very important. So if we were to do, for example, to do this row, we could say we want to find the eBay sold price of or the total profit from the shirt. So we're going to say it's 30 times 0 times, okay, it's actually 30 plus 30, 30 minus, because you're subtracting. 30 minus 30 times 0 plus, minus again. This is eBay's take. Remember, eBay takes 12%, 1125 times 30. And that gives us the correct amount. So even though I sold the shirt for $30, there's no tax, but in eBay took 12%. So that's basically taking 12% 30 and doing that. However, that is hard. That is also, it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, I can't do that in my head. I don't need a calculator, but that's still annoying. So this is where it becomes really obvious. So what you can do is you can say, I want this to be, and you can reference a cell name. So I can say, let's just say there's no tax, no eBay take. I can just do C4, and that will bring up 30. So if I reference C4, that counts that as 30. So you can see it takes the sold price, puts it in there because you're referencing that cell, and then you have that. So what you can do for this is pretty simple. We can do 30 minus 30, C4, again, because you're referencing the cell, C4, times the tax percentage. So this is the tax percentage right here. So this cell is D4, so you can do times D4. D4. It doesn't matter if it's capitalized. I think it looks a little bit nicer. Minus, and eBay's take is 12.5, so you can do C4 times E4, that row. And if you press enter, it's 26 still because it just magically knows the calculation. So right there, we can change it. If we change this number, let's say we sold $100. The shirt was actually $100. It will manually update. So 100 minus 12% or 100 times 12% subtracted, whatever, is 87. So as you can see, it's really, really convenient just to be able to quickly do those math calculations. You don't have to do it manually. It's all set up for you. So what we're going to do, we're going to do this. We're going to obviously want to bring this to other cells. And we can just, again, copy it. But if you remember, if you drag down, it will, that's actually bad because I think if you do control drag, shift, whatever, I'm just going to drag it down. So basically, if you drag it down, and it's not doing the same number, you'd think this would copy the same thing, but what it's doing, eBay is smart. Spreadsheets, Sheets is smart. So actually what it's doing is it's changing it. So when you drag it down, it's saying, okay, you probably don't want the same row. You're going to want one row down. And so you're going to say, right here, as you can see, C5, so it changes C4 to C5, C4 to C5 again, D5, D4 to D5, and then just everything back up to 5. And it does this for this one too. I'm just going to, I don't know if I can drag up, but let me see. Up. And then, so right there, it does that. So as you can see, if I highlight all these, I think, if I click on them, you can see it's doing 50 and doing the math, and it already calculates for you. So right there, I do this actually. I do this a little bit more complicated than that. It's a little bit different, but I do this almost like once a week when I sell something on eBay. I literally put it in here. I put in the sold price, and it does the rest for me. It's really extremely convenient. There's a couple other things to make this easier. For example, eBay's take is always 12%. So if you actually do something like this, we could say eBay's take, and then write down 12.5, changes to a number percent. That's big percent. Oh, okay, it's doing 12.5. And we can just do something like this. If you do, for example, so it's saying E right here, E3 is our thing. So we can do times H, because remember it's H here, 3. But we're going to put a number sign in front of that. What that number sign does is when you drag this down, and it did not do that. So it's different for this than Excel, I think. Okay. Whatever. Basically, you'd have to change the name, but I think there's a way to make it so it doesn't drag down, because obviously this point you just want to do that, but if you just do this, this is probably the totally wrong way to do it, but it works. So I was doing E3. Okay, whatever. It should be H3, but basically you can just do the one thing and you could remove this row, and then it's a little bit nicer. But it doesn't really matter that much. That's that part. So that, again, I use it every day. There's a common application for when you do it. But this is the thing I've been using it recently for my stats class. And in stats class, there's a lot of complicated equations that I do not want to do by hand every single time. So, or at least if I do them by hand, I want to check my work. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new sheet. So if you look down here, this is the same document. Also, I need to title this. I don't know. Right. They're just saving it, right? So you can see sheet 1, sheet 2, and you can actually reference these sheets between each other, but it's too complicated. We're just going to do this. So we basically just made new sheets in the same file, but we made a new thing. We're going to go and try to do this problem right here. So I'm not sure if anyone from my class is here, but this is chapter 5.5 or 5.1, and it's talking about normal probability distribution. So basically, what we're going to, it says it's Excel, but we're going to use it for this Google Docs. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to give it the z-score, and then it's going to tell us the area under the curve to the left of that z-score. So this is, you can use, if you don't use this, you have to use a table, which I hate looking at tables. So it's a lot easier to do this. So you see this Excel function, it says normal, S, distribution, or dist, and it gives you those things. So because we're using sheets, it's a little bit different, but if you just do equals, remember, you always have to put the equals first. Put the equals, that means just thinking it's in math mode, it's thinking like it's not just like letters and numbers. So if you do this, do norm dot S, I think S is for standard distribution, standard normal distribution, dist, and you put in the number, let's say negative 0.99, and return you an answer, 16.16, which is correct. So as you can see, right there is already really useful. And usually what you can do is you can combine this with even more complicated equations. So you can kind of do this all automatically. It's extremely convenient. But again, you can always do the same kind of stuff with that. But that is a nice example. And again, if you guys are looking at the book, if you ever see something with Excel, I think it's the next chapter. But if you ever see something with Excel, you can just it might be a little bit different. Like for example, ours doesn't have the true, but it's really, really similar, and you can probably figure it out. But the problem we're going to do, and I don't know how much time we have, but I don't know how much time has gone by, but we're going to try to do this one. It's called 2-sample t-test for distribute between the means. This is a beast of an equation. As you can see, you have this massive thing up here, and you divide it by either one of these things. And both of those things, even though one of them is a little bit easier, they're both very annoying. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot. I don't think you can see this, but we're going to take a quick screenshot. There we go. And we're going to copy it. And if you can see, if I just paste it, there we go. So you can just remember exactly like Word. You can copy and paste pictures, whatever you want. Just it will probably work if you think if you want it to work. So we're going to try to make this equation. And the first thing I'd say, if you're making a big equation like this, you want to break it up into parts. Breaking up into parts not only lets you it's easier to tell what you've done wrong, but it also helps you check your work while you're going. It also just makes it less of a bundle of stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down all our variables. So if you look in, we have x1, x2. These two cancel out, so it doesn't matter. Then we have the n, which is the number of people you get. And then we have the sample standard distribution. So if you do x1, x2, let's see, n1, n2, and then s1, s2. So we're going to make this a little small. So yeah, there. That's what I was trying to do. So I can collapse it. Actually, I'm going to, I usually what I like to do, just makes it a little bit more clear that's not the variable. It's just nicer. And then shrink it. So obviously, and what we're going to do is if we're going to use an equation, we're going to reference this B column and just use that. So we're going to try to do just the first part. So we're going to say, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but I'll do it here. So equals. This is going to be x1. And remember, x1 is going to be. I'm not going to say f1. I'm going to say b1 to get x1 because we're saying this is just like a visual representation. This doesn't, the x1 there doesn't mean anything. We're going to b1 minus b2 minus, this is going to end up being 0, so I'm just going to ignore that. And we're going to divide this. So divide by, and then we're not going to do that part because it's a little bit complicated. We're going to do it in a separate place. So divided by, and I'm just going to say nothing for now. It's going to have an error because it doesn't like dividing by nothing. But let's put some values in. I think they actually have an example. Let's go to a quick example here. This is confusing, obviously. Okay. So this is, okay, there it is. So we're going to use this. I'm going to take another screenshot because it's easy. Let's see. Take a screenshot, copy the clipboard. All right, so x1 is 4, 7, 3. x2 is 4, 4, 5, 9. S1 is 39.7. Wait, I know they've ordered it a little bit different. 39.7. The second is 24.5. And then the ends are 8 and 18. So you can see we just typed all the stuff in, and now we'll actually do this. But let's, so we're going to actually, so remember, we're splitting apart. So we're just going to do this first part up here, and then we're going to have the second part. And we're just going to make it simple on ourselves, make it easy. We're just going to say the variances are not equal because that's just it's a more simple thing to say if they're not equal. So we're going to go on this next line. So we're going to say, I don't know, it's good to always label your stuff. So T equals, and I'm just doing that. Again, that doesn't mean anything. I'm just putting it to look better. Top part of a fraction. Top part fraction, and then this is going to be bottom of fraction. Numerator, denominator, whatever. I guess stretch this out a little bit. Okay, there. So the bottom part, because you're dividing by this, and that is this. So we're going to say, first thing do, square root. Square root of this entire thing. Sorry, forgot the equals. Remember, always have the equals. So the square root of, and then you've got two things. So I'm just going to, it's always better just to, or I find it easier just to first go out of level. So you're going to have two things, and you're going to add those parentheses because we do, it's going to be S2. So remember, S1 is 39.5. And also, if you click on the cell, that actually will bring it up and automatically put it in there. I usually don't like doing that, but it's a nice little shortcut. S1 to the 2, and then I have to add another set of parentheses. Remember, parentheses really matter when you're doing programming stuff or the spreadsheet stuff because it cares a lot. Divided by N1, which is 8. And then plus, it's going to be S2 squared. So S2 is this, plus this to the 2. Add more parentheses just to make it very clear. Always adding more parentheses never hurt anyone, and it always makes sure your math is right. Minus divided by there, N2. So if you press enter, you're going to get this. So this right here is going to be your standard deviation of x minus x2, which is nice, except as you can see, still got an error. We got to say we want C. So we're going to say C 10, or actually click. So you're going to say C10, and I'll pop it in. And that should give us the correct answer. That should be the T value we're looking for, because basically it's saying first do the top part, and then we're going to reference this other cell with the rest of the equation right here. And it does all the math for us. It's very convenient. As you can see, split it up into two parts. It's very convenient. I'm praying this is the right answer because I don't actually know. So it's 9.22. Their answer is 9.22. As you can see, this is the correct answer, and this works obviously for any problem. So then you can now go around, go to the next problem, change these values, and it will give you the correct answer. I think this problem is actually a little bit more, which you could maybe do some other stuff. But you can do a lot of stuff. Basically, you can do a lot of stuff. If you think you can do it, you can probably think of some equation that will do it. You also can go up here and edit it, so you don't have to double click on the cell. As you can see, made my life a lot easier for these problems. all obviously a lot faster for this one and some other ones, especially in the I think 4.7 or something or 4.1. There's some ones where you like summed up values, and that's where this really came in useful, especially when they actually allow you to get the data and put it into Excel or Docs is the same kind of thing really easily. And it really made life easier because you can just make this generic equation, fit the stuff in, and then it gives you the right answer every single time. Super handy. That is all the TechByte for today. Remember, just like Word, it's very useful for a lot of different things. Thank you everyone for coming. And if you have any questions, please type it in the chat or go to Discord, which is no in the chat, so it's not super useful. Thank you.